Good morning. I'm gonna try to keep this in short and sweet because I want to watch The Dark Crystal on Netflix. Um, what's that, sweet prince? This morning I came across a This morning I came across, I don't know why I was looking up. Oh, someone left a comment on my Arcturian video that I made. If you want to hear my Arcturian story, you can check it out somewhere on my YouTube channel. Anywho, they were like, "Yo, I'm from Sirius," so I looked up the traits of Sirius. I was reading a bunch of cool stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a gander at the Arcturian starseed again." So I Google Arcturian starseed traits, and I'm reading. Cool, this all checks out. And at the bottom, at the very bottom of it, it's like you're disconnected from the starseed trait if. And so I start reading them. It's like you're not as empathetic. You can't connect to the global consciousness. And then the last one was like, it said, you support capitalism. What's up, John Smith? It's like, you support capitalism and the destruction of the planet. And I was like, whoa, time out. Hello, Gina Rokavai, if I pronounced that well, Gina Rokavai. And so when they slipped that little bit in, like, you support capitalism, and immediately that shot up a red flag. And without getting into too much wordiness, if you're looking at a perspective, if you're toying with the idea of something as a starseed that exists intergalactically, interdimensionally, interuniversally, if you're acting on that level and you see a problem as being capitalism, it's too small. You're thinking way too small and way too confined. Hey, sweet prince. Keep it down over there. And what I mean by that is first of all, there's nothing wrong with capitalism. And I'll give you a good example. People say capitalism is destroying the planet. No, capitalism is not destroying the planet. People buying into things that destroy the planet is what destroys the planet. Capitalism is only showing the dark side of human nature, but it can just as easily show the light side of human nature. Case in point, America has, thanks to Toya Banks, thanks for being here. I'll try to keep the info fresh, and I'll try not to regurgitate shit that you see online. I'm trying to make some unique connections here. Case in point, with capitalism can show the bright side. And since about the 1950s, America has been planting don't fact check me, do your own research, but America has been planting roughly 4 times as many plants as it's been cutting down. The reason behind this is because America realized that we're destroying the environment by capitalizing on timber. So it's like, okay, you can make money, right? We don't have to get rid of capitalism. We can make money off of timber and plants without cutting them down. We can find a way to make it more profitable to keep nature rather than destroy it. So, case in point, America has way more trees today than it did 100 years ago, especially in the East Coast. There's far more trees than there were 100 years ago, and it's steady growing again because humanity switched the system, used capitalism to go to the light side, if you will. Now, this works for everything. Everything is a tool, can be used. Nuclear power can give homes electricity, or you can wipe out an entire city like they did in Nagasaki, Japan, when we dropped the atom bomb. That's just the nature of life. So back to the point when I said be careful on reading these starseed websites is because I can grab them. Here, give them to me. Oh, he wants to eat? You can feed him. My bad. I thought he was just being fussy. Are you hungry? Give me a second, you guys. Sweet princes. wanting to eat right now. Where was I? Oh, when looking at starseed websites, people, I normally praise the ego. I'm like, stop talking shit about the ego. Without the ego, we wouldn't have an individual experience to witness all the beautiful creations from our unique perspective. So I normally am all about the ego, but in this case, it was clear to me that the person had a sort of egotistical, or maybe not egotistical, but a biased viewpoint when they were writing this article, by saying if you support capitalism, you're separated from your starseed origins because you're supporting a system that kills the planet. Again, I don't know about that, Latoya. I have no idea if to use the nuclear in the projects. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Point is, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt, because it's the evolution of consciousness sort of using these tools to go to the light side that's going to fix us. Like Star Wars, the Force. Darth Maul uses the Force to kill people. And Yoda uses the Force to save people. I'm not saying capitalism is the Force, but I am saying that capitalism is just a tool, you guys. And it was kind of silly that that person was speaking on an intergalactic level, talking about star seeds and shit, and then they were like, capitalism, if you support that, as if some aliens in a neighboring galaxy are like, oh, we can't talk to Earth because they're using capitalism and capitalism is evil. Here, I'll take them. Come here, sweet prince. Come here. Come here. Ah, sweet prince, we're not going to be sheep. We're not going to be thinking things are evil without actually giving them actual thought. Because like I said, it's silly. It's silly. Here's the thing when it comes to capitalism. As soon as we make profitable nature, we win. That's the only thing. People become selfish, not capitalism. When you think, well, we're burning fossil fuels. We're burning fossil fuels and we're killing the planet because we're releasing all this carbon dioxide into the air, all this CO2. CO2 is bad, we're going to kill the planet because the CO2 levels are rising. I've talked about this before, that's a joke. If you want to save the planet and save nature, plants, which are the foundation of all living things, are at their peak performance at 1,000 parts per million CO2. You want to know what CO2 levels are right now? They're at like 300 to 400 parts per million. Less than half the optimal levels of CO2 for the planet to flourish. So we're actually doing the planet a favor by burning fossil fuels, because all the fossil fuels are trapped underground, because back in the day, trees didn't get a chance to break down because mushrooms, fungus didn't exist, so it all got buried. You say, well, yeah, Keith, the way that we're doing it is harming the planet. Yes, the way that we are doing it is harming the planet, like fracking and shit like that. But when you're thinking on terms of, like, again, intergalactic shit, and you say something as small as capitalism is evil, it just shows how narrow-minded you are. There's a great stand-up. There's a great stand-up by George Carlin. Again, I talked about this last time, where he talks about humans wanting to save the planet is just another sort of self-righteous act on humanity, as if we were capable of influencing planet Earth. We are of planet Earth. We are creatures of planet Earth. And if you believe planet Earth is conscious, then I'd be damned if we thought we were smart enough to overcome planet Earth without it thinking in a blink of an eye of just wiping us off the face. Without a trace. He makes a joke in this stand-up about what if it was the role of humanity for plastic, and planet Earth has this great plan for plastic, and so it's like, all right, I'm gonna invent humans to make all the plastic and pull it out of the earth because I can't do it quick enough. So it invents humans. Humans start drilling oil, pulling oil to the surface, which was trapped down there. It used to be on the surface when the planet was thriving. All the oil was existed as plant material, plant mass, flora and fauna, when the planet was thriving. And so maybe the planet wanted to thrive again and invented humans to bring all of it to the surface. I don't know, but the point I'm trying to make is don't be so narrow minded and don't listen to people who are narrow minded and say something as plain as capitalism is evil, and if you're a capitalist, then you're not following your starseed origins, as if capitalism negates your starseed origins. What that is biased. It's someone who's trapped by the drama of society, trapped by the drama of media, trapped by the drama of their friends and family, trapped by the drama of the fucking books and movies that they decide to watch, and not actually thinking for themselves and having their own thoughts, their own ideas. Um, you want mommy now? Say bye to the squad. Say bye to the squad, sweet prince. Say bye to the squad, sweet prince. Are you gonna make coffee?
Yeah.
Can you give him a laugh? Can you give him a quick laugh? Show him the dimple. Show him the baby letters dimple. Show the dimps. Show the dimps. No dimps. You're there. Oh. Wow. All right. There you go. But yeah, you guys, it's here's how I see it. Um, anyone who takes upon an ideology verbatim all the things it stands for and all the things it doesn't stand for, and attaches to those things without thinking for themselves, is not on the right path. And what, like, here's an example. If you consider yourself a Democrat, what people do is they go, well, I'll just vote Democrat on everything. So I'm a Democrat, so everyone in office, boom, I'm automatically voting Democrat. President, I'm automatically voting Democrat. Same thing with Republican. Oh, I'm a Republican, so everything Republicans like, I'll just assume that I like them. Everything that Republicans don't like, I'll just assume I don't like that. And it's not as simple as that. As soon as you pick a side, you limit yourself. Instead, what we should be doing is what we should be doing is just taking a serious stock of the long-term picture, um, how we actually feel about a topic, which means we have to actually learn about the topic. We have to know how things operate. We have to know the patterns of the world, which is why I like to study and teach the Hermetics, because the Hermetics just teaches patterns. It doesn't say right or wrong. Um, it doesn't say do this, do that. It just says here's a pattern to the world. Here's how nature operates. And if you want to be the most successful living on this plane or any other, you will do well to study these patterns and study these operating mechanics and apply them to whatever you're trying to do. And this is why I brought up capitalism, and this is why I am sort of hating on the person that was hating on capitalism, is because they're very narrow-minded. Um, Same thing, yes. Can capitalism destroy the world? Absolutely. But if it can destroy the world, we know that nature is balanced. Right? We know that the swing of the pendulum is opposite on both sides. So if the swing of capitalism says we can destroy the world on this side and it goes all the way up fucking here to a 10, we know that because life is balanced, because rhythm compensates, that capitalism can also swing to the exact but opposing side and create just as much as it destroys. But what it cannot do is create if everyone believes that it destroys. Again, because they listen to dogma. And dogma is just a belief in something without taking your own serious stock in something. That's believing capitalism destroys because the news tells you it destroys, or because your spiritual community tells you it destroys, or because some starseed website tells you that capitalism detaches you from your starseed ancestry, which is a joke. which is a fucking joke because say capitalism is in place and the Syrians land on planet Earth. You're telling me that the Syrians couldn't go, oh, capitalism is fine, you guys just are morons and you choose to put your energy in the form of thoughts, money, actions, deeds, purchases. You decide to put your energy into shit that destroys the planet. And you go, here's a case in point right here. This country now once killed itself because of capitalism is now growing itself because of capitalism without harming the environment in the process. Of course, is it perfect? No, nothing's perfect. But the idea isn't to be perfect, it's to steadily get better. It's to acknowledge the faults and fix them, not to just label something as eternally evil, because nothing is eternally anything. Everything is always changing from one thing to the next, depending upon your mindset, your vision, your willpower, which most people fucking lack. Most people have zero willpower. They have zero drive. They have zero volition over their own thoughts. They're just fucking people constantly going with the flow. And this is a perfect thing that I was talking about with everyone who wants to go with the flow is they tend to be dominated by the thoughts of other people instead of dominated by their own thoughts, dominated by the drive of other people instead of their own, because they're constantly going with the flow. Like, how can you be in charge of your own life in your own direction if you're going constantly with the flow of other people? Your friends, your family, going with the flow of, again, spiritual communities that you follow. Um, I feel like spirituality has given so much to so many people. It's pulled them out of the dark. It's given them hope. It's given them a glimpse of magic, and given them a glimpse of a world that could be. And it's been such a light to people that they almost take everything verbatim because it meant so much to them before that everything that comes down the chamber after that must also be true, must also be useful for me, must also be helpful for me. But that's not the case. You guys got to question everything. I don't care if it's your pastor, if it's your priest, if it's your best friend. Um, I'm gonna tell my son shit one day that's gonna be completely wrong, and it's not gonna be the best piece of information that I could have given him. It might have been the best piece of information I personally could give him with my own knowledge, but the goal is to have our offspring be better than us. My dad better than my grandpa, me better than my dad, my son better than me, my grandson better than my son. Like the idea is to get better every time. Um, and we can't do that if we're not thinking on our own. We can't get better than our predecessors if we don't evolve, if we don't adapt to the times. And a lot of that has to do with not maybe it's not being better than them, but it's just being better for your own time period. Like being a better person in that world, adapting, adjusting, evolving to that world. And we can't do that by hanging on to old dogma. Um, like for example, I would big my big realized plan in the past couple days, peace, Theodian, is to start a nonprofit that focuses in regrowing forests. Dude, I don't know exactly what it's gonna do, but it's gonna involve growing a fucking shit ton of plants and trees and ecosystems, and just build like a giant beautification project um, under capitalism, this so-called hatred capitalism. But all we have to do, right? So you say capitalism destroys the environment. Capitalism doesn't destroy the environment. Capitalism goes towards profit, whether it's or value. More so than value, or more so than profit, capitalism goes towards value. So, like I was saying, the person who's short-sighted and said capitalism is evil, it just showed their own limitations of thought. What has to be done with capitalism, and is what I'm going to be doing, what I am already doing, is I'm devising a way to make it more valuable to grow nature than to destroy it. And to be fair, that's not actually that big of a stretch. That's not that big of, like, that's not a revolutionary idea for it to be more valuable to keep nature than to destroy it. So, I mean, think in terms of a good example is 1% of the Amazon rainforest. 1% of the plants in the Amazon rainforest have been extensively studied in the curing of diseases, for example. So, boom, there's one piece of value. We could cure damn near any disease out there with nature. So, boom, there's value. Now, think of um, spiritual value. Everyone has an innate connection to nature. You put someone in a grove of 500-year-old redwood trees, and they're going to feel a connection to the earth that they hadn't imagined before. So you have the spiritual value of nature. Um, of course, money. You can harvest fruits or resins, or maybe people just want to buy plants in general. So there's a monetary value of plants. Like I sell plants, for example. So there's another value. Like we I don't even want to say as humans, because not even as humans, not all humans do this shit. Some humans just live going 100% with the flow every time again, and that's not being human. We as humans, if we want to be creators, right, be gods, at least gods compared to the rest of humanity, we have to be fucking thinkers, you know? We can't condemn things, we have to transmute things. That's our goal as alchemists, hermeticists, scientists, thinkers. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Our goal is to transmute. So, is capitalism destroying the environment? Absolutely, like for sure. There's a, a huge number of capitalist practices across the globe that's destroying the planet. But there are just as easily a vast number of capitalist enterprises that are building the planet. And the examples I've already given and a quick Google search will show you all the wonderful things that capitalism is doing for the planet. Um, so again, if some forms of capitalism are growing and some forms of capitalism are destroying, what does that make capitalism? It makes capitalism neutral. And I know I keep using that because that was the topic of the video, but this works for fucking everything. Like, um, I don't know, anger. You can even think of anger. There's cases where anger destroys things. Someone loses their anger and say kills somebody. But then there's also anger that creates things. Like someone, like I'm angry that I keep seeing nature wasted. So my anger drives me to create a business which grows nature. So again, anger can destroy and anger can create. Everything from someone like you and I shouldn't be what's good and what's bad. It's what can I transmute? What can I slide up the degree from hate to love? What can I slide, or how can I slide the degree from destruction to creation? Because opposites are the same. Love, hate, same thing. Destruction, creation, same fucking thing. Hot, cold, same fucking thing. Fear, courage, same fucking thing. The only difference between the two is at what point of the scale are you looking at the two opposing forces? Um, yes, it's subjective, but it's also objective. It's subjective, objective, same fucking thing. So that's what you guys need to do. And that's what triggered me when I read this article on you're detached from your starseed origin if you support capitalism and how it destroys the world. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You're gonna tell me that you're someone that believes in the infiniteness of the universe, the infinite possibilities of transmitting one thing to another in the universe, the infinite capacity of humanity to build and to grow, and you're going to say something as limiting as capitalism is evil. And if you follow it, you're going to be detached from Starseed. No, that tells me that whoever wrote that article has a very narrow minded view of what capitalism does, how capitalism has existed, and all the literature that they read, all the conversations that they have, the people that they choose to surround themselves with, all have the same exact philosophy. They all have the same exact ideology of life and of capitalism, um, which is it can only destroy. Not bothering to take a 2-second Google search and show all the ways capitalism is helping the planet. But again, it's not because capitalism is good, because capitalism isn't what's helping the planet. 100 years ago, when America decided to stop cutting down the trees because they realized that it's more valuable to have forests than to not have forests, right? That wasn't capitalism that turned the tides of American forests. It was people. It was people like you and I who thought, hey, let's slow down here for a second. We're allowing our own downfalls, our own darknesses destroy the country via capitalism, right? It wasn't capitalism that was destroying. And then what they did is they said, let's use our own powers, our light side, to use capitalism to regrow the forests. And that's where we have to be. We have to realize that first, mind is all, and that the things we see out in nature can be used for good and for bad, right? Don't think for 1 second that all of a sudden you were like, well, let's just destroy, because this is what people tend to do. They want to just destroy everything. Um, they say, well, like capitalism, for example, like, well, the system's not benefiting me as much as I would like it to. So let's just destroy the whole system, set everything back to square one. That way we're all equal. We're all equally fucking poor, or we're all equally broke, or we're all starting at the bottom. That way I have a better chance of getting to the top in like an even playing field, which is dangerous. That's what socialist countries, that's what Venezuela does. They go, fuck that, let's just destroy everything. That way back we're all back to square one. Um, that's something that's actually a 19th century idea. But to add to that, I don't know if you guys follow Napoleon Hill, who's on some occult shit. You guys, Napoleon Hill is on some occult shit. He's it's actually The Science of Getting Rich, which you guys should all listen to. I'll do an audiobook of The Science of Getting Rich soon. But one of the ideas in The Science of Getting Rich is, um, first of all, he uses all occult. The main premise is all is mind. Everything originates in mind. The material world is just a shadow of the mind, a shadow of the spiritual world. Um, and there was one thing that stuck out to me in general that says, do not condemn the business owners that make billions of dollars, because it's by the ingenuity of the business owners who make billions that set up roads, that set up technology, that set up factories, that make it easier for wealth to flow to us. And you say, well, Keith, Amazon didn't pay any money in taxes last year in 2017, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. Um, Again, I'm not saying everyone is a good guy or everyone is a bad guy. What I'm saying is learn how to use the fucking tools that are here. We live in a time right now where it's stupid easy to make money. There, America's making more millionaires today than it ever has. The capacity to generate wealth is higher than it has ever been before. Um, Not that wealth is the end all. Wealth is just, again, a tool. Wealth can be used to turn into a tyrant and take over a country, and wealth can be used to grow things. A multi-millionaire could buy half of Venezuela right now. It's like half of Venezuela is worth like something like $2.5 million or something stupid like that, because their economy is just collapsed for whatever reason. Um, so you could buy all of Venezuela and create your own paradise country. You know what I mean? If you had enough money and influence to do it. Um, I feel like I'm just rambling and preaching at this point. I'm pretty sure I've nailed what I needed to talk about, which is, um, see if I can summarize. In conclusion, I'll reel it in even more than that. When it comes to starseed shit, pay attention for people who are biased. Um, Pay attention to people who are giving information that's one-sided and narrow-minded and doesn't take into consideration the whole picture. Um, that goes with the starseed shit. Um, and I guess the deeper, the more meta point I'm trying to drive home, the media is very influential. That's only referring to mainstream media. because the spiritual world has its own media now, and it exists as your fucking Instagram feed, as your Facebook feed, as your Twitter feed, as the books and literature that you decide to read. That's all media, and that's all just as, if not more, influencing than mainstream media, because the most the most impressionable media that you come across is the one that you see the most often, and you will program your subconscious mind just from digesting shit. So be careful, um, and question everything. Question your gurus. I don't care how fucking Indian the guy's name sounds. Question him. I don't care how many YouTube subscribers I have or someone else has. Question me. Question other people. Um, I don't care how many times you hear something, from how many different sources that you hear it. Question it. I don't care if it's coming from yourself, if it's your own ideas. Question them. Like, where are these ideas coming from? Are they my ideas? Are they my thoughts? Is it, do I believe in this shit? Does this actually make me happy? Um, do I measure success in how many things I have? Do I measure success in the growth of my company? Do I measure success in just my pure day-to-day happiness and stress levels? Like, what is my tool for measuring my happiness and my success in the world? Um, because it can get tricky out there, you guys. It can get tricky. Um, but we are crafty ass motherfuckers, are we not? We are we are thoughtful, we are mindful, we are caring and compassionate. We are driven. We have the ability to create our own flows and to ride the flows. We have the capacity to drive forward. We have the capacity to let go and let be. We can be both passive and active. We can be both driven and relaxed. We can be both ambitious and calm and peaceful. We have the capacity for anything and everything because we are alchemists. We do not, we're not Democrats. We're not Republicans. We're not spiritual. We're not atheist. We're not physical. We're not extra dimensional. We are everything. Anything and everything, and we are nothing. We are potential. And with our mind and our will, we can consolidate that potential into whatever form we want. And that is the role of the alchemist, the hermeticist, the true stutters, the true, what's the word, the true, oh, learner of reality. So, um, I went a little longer than I wanted to go, but um, let me. I didn't read any of your guys' comments during this, so if there's something that you really wanted me to answer, something that you really wanted to share, just leave the comment again right now, so I don't have to search all the way through you guys' comment list, because that would make my job a lot easier. I would like to see the Dark Crystal that just got released on Netflix. Because I would like to slip into a fantasy world for a little bit. I got the day off from work. Shout out to Pops. But I still have a shit ton of orders to fill, so I'll be working the majority of the day anyways. Come on. Oh, you guys have been busy. No, you're not. You didn't tell me. John Smith is here. We got new subbies. Hey, Ayatoya. If you're still in the room, thanks for being here. Everyone say hello to Ayatoya. and also correct us if we're saying a name wrong. And if there's anyone else that's new in the group, introduce yourselves. We have a nice little community here, and I want to make sure that everyone feels welcome and included and heard, because that's how I develop most of the shit that I know. Is I try to listen to as many different perspectives as I can, so that I can put together the best picture as I can, and I can only do that if I know y'all as good as I can. So everyone, say what up. Um, Isis, what's up? How you doing, Isis? You are much appreciated too. Um, Amar Namat. Yeah, he wanted to say hello to you guys. He was getting super fussy. Rocio! We're missed by the hurricane. Jenny P, are you over there in Florida too? Stay safe out there, you guys. I don't know how you guys can deal with the hurricane. And I tell that to people who are in hurricane territory, and they go, yeah, but you guys have earthquakes. I think the biggest earthquake we had was in '93 or something like that, and I slept through the whole thing. So earthquakes are a huge deal, but they're not. I feel like hurricanes would be worse to live in a hurricane area, but Theodian Freeman, that's a cool name. Reminds me of Lord of the Rings. Hate noise pollution is like my number one hatred. Like if I have a hatred, people will say you're not supposed to use the word hate. Well, fuck that. You know what I hate? Noise pollution. It's like there's just an obnoxiously loud motor outside right now, and if I could, I would urinate in the gas tank. I don't know if urine breaks things down. I would put something in the gas tank that would make it not work forever. I don't care how much it's going to cost to do to replace it. I would break it and not feel any guilt. That's how much I hate noise pollution. It's unnecessary. Like, get an electric fucking motor, bro. It's 2019. We've had electric motors for like 50 years now. You tell me you can't use one of those things? Anyway. Um, there's a goddess of cats in here? Where's there a goddess? Ooh, there's a goddess. What up, goddess of cats? Goddess of cats, you're definitely new still. We'll give you a new one. Um, Still catching up with you guys. Oh, thanks for reminding everyone to hit the like button, John Smith. Um, Grand Rising, IMC Squared. Salavi Studio, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here for a long time. Actually, Salavi's been here for a long ass time. Thank you for still being here. I know how YouTube, even myself, tend to come and go with YouTube channels, but so I appreciate you still being here. By the way, you guys, I'm just throwing this out there because I feel like this is a good enough squad to do it. Like I said, I normally don't tell my plans, my big plans to people, because all it takes is one bad fruit to spoil the whole batch. But I feel good about it, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm starting a nonprofit. I literally, I I decided to start a nonprofit. I haven't actually started anything yet. Um, but if any of you guys have any experience or have any connections in the nature world of nonprofits, of businesses trying to make money off of sustainable technology when it comes to nature and forests and farming and cultures and communities, just throwing it out there. Let me know. Um, so yeah. Yeah, biodynamic farming. Slavicia knows what's up. Through supply and demand, Slavicia, like a sentient sandwich. Interesting name. I love it. Very interesting name. um, Sentient sandwich. Jenny P, what's up? I think I'm all caught up on the comments. Yada 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 yada. Blah, blah. Put your sandbags in front of your doors and hang on. Ah, that's a cool way to name your child, Isis. That's really cool. And thanks, Theoden, for fake wind on my face. Like fans? I don't like fans on my face either. I do like the smell of air conditioners, like your car air conditioner for some reason, but the air burns my eyes. Almost caught up with your comments. Almost caught up with you guys' comments. Um, Adventure Time. I never got on Adventure Time. I know what you're talking about, the cartoon, but I never got on that show. Oh my god, the bicycle riders are the worst. I have this fantasy in my head. I'm probably not gonna do it because I'm afraid I might kill the guy. But I want to peg a motorcycle rider with a rock. Just fucking. I got good aim too. I played ball through university, so I can hit some shit if I really want to. Just get a nice golf ball sized rock and just fucking hurl it. Just at the motorcycle guy, especially when they go down Main Street or State Street where it's really closed and they obviously have nowhere to go, but then to just show off how loud their motorcycle is. Anywho, um, um, all right, y'all. Well, it seems as if we are done and there's not too much more going on. So I'm happy. Ooh, a squishy tomato. Student of rhythm. I like that name. Um, do you follow Hermetics? Student of rhythm? You should. You should look up the Hermetic philosophy and then look up the law of rhythm. Because if you haven't come across it yet, I'm stoked for you. And then report back and let me know how stoked you are. Because the law of rhythm is one of my favorite laws. But yeah, I should definitely start hitting people with oranges and tomatoes. Um, cool. So is that it, you guys? We done? Y'all ready out there to seize the day? Be the best transmuters a human can be? Um, Thanks, Isis. Sending love and light, and abundance of protection, healing, and optimal transmutation for the betterment of your lives everywhere. Yeah, or you can get the book called Seven Pillars of Handbook to Existence. That works too. All right, you guys. Well, take it easy. Oh yeah. Shameless promo. Like 3 people have made $100 orders on my Etsy shop in the past probably 2 weeks. You guys, I have a Patreon, and I set up a new thing where if you donate $5 to the Patreon, you get 10% off the Etsy shop. And if you donate $10 to the Patreon, you get 20% off the Etsy shop. And if that person would have donated the $10 to the Etsy or to the Patreon, they would have paid for 2 months of Patreon just from the one order that they had. So you guys got to get on that. I know I have a lot of cool stuff in the Etsy shop, but if you want to support and get goods at the same time, your best way to do is to join my Patreon, so that you can help me and help yourself at the same time. It was like the best idea I had to give as much to you guys while allowing you guys an avenue to help me out at the same time. So don't be slipping on the Patreon if you buy from my Etsy shop, because it will pay for itself pretty quickly. Um, and that's it. Love you guys. Take it easy. Patreon is Keith Garcia. John Smith, you want to help me out with that? I just closed my thing. I can. Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Keith Garcia. Keyth Garcia. Because like I said, the person who spent $110 would have gotten like $23 back, and that if they would have done the $10 Patreon, which they would have paid for the Patreon, helped me out, helped themselves out, and got a bunch of cool shit in the process. That's of course if you use my Etsy shop for cool shit. Otherwise, just keep getting cool shit for free on the YouTube. But here's patreon.com/Keith Garcia. So that's basically it. Cool, you guys. If you just checked in, sorry you missed the whole lecture. I'll see you in the next video. Love you guys, and speak soon.